Yes guys, welcome to the channel. So today, obviously, a lot of you would already know that I'm going to be working on this 2025. I've already taken off the controller because a customer was going to buy this 2023 bike. He thought it was a 2024, but it was actually a 2023. So he said that it wouldn't work with his motor. How true that is, I don't know, but I have heard that it actually doesn't work with the 23 motor. So we've got it back, but it's not on the bike anymore. So obviously you can see I've got the 4 mounting points here off the controller, the 2 lower mounting points. And then obviously I've got my phase wires and my live and neutral for the battery. I'm going to be stripping all that out. And then obviously fitting the new Ventus controller and the new Ventus motor. So the first thing I'm going to get started on is I'm going to strip this back end. I'm going to get all the linkage off, the wheel, the jack shaft. We're going to replace all that and then we're going to take the motor out. So let's go. Right, so I'm pretty much off now. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rear wheel off. So I'm going to remove the axle, the chain. The chain might as well come off at this point because I'm going to need a bigger chain as I'm upgrading the sprocket. Then I'm going to make my way round to the subframe. I'm going to remove all the subframe bolts and the 2 little bolts that hold the plastic onto the frame. The reason I take the rear subframe off is, I've said it before, it just makes life so much easier when I need to get to the linkage and suspension. So on the screen, as you can see now, is a picture of the website, and you can see the first trap linkage and triangle kits that we sell. Next you can see the 2118 wheels that we sell, which are going to be going on this bike. So at the minute I'm just a little bit lost with the colour scheme of the bike. I wanted to get, because it's got the 88 volt battery going in, it needs a bigger lid, and the lid that comes with it is carbon dipped. So at first I was thinking, do I get a sticker kit made? But then if any of the carbon is showing through the sticker kit, it'll just play on my mind. It's not a vibe for me at all. So then I thought, do I get all the plastics on the top hydro dipped? And so that's roughly where I'm at. I feel like that's where I want to go with it. But for the time being, I decided that I'm probably going to keep the 2025 stickers on, change the lid for the carbon dipped one, and then just see how it looks with the 2025 stickers, with obviously all the purple anodized bits on. Obviously looking at the video now, back to the video, you can see where we're at, and you can see obviously I've got all the rear linkage, triangle, everything off, so that's all ready now to have all the new stuff put on. So quick one, you can see the bar that I've got there in my hand. What we do, Luke showed me this trick, we knock the bar through the jack shaft and it sits just in between the swing arm bearings and then holds the jack shaft in place. So when you remove that back end now, it comes away with the jack shaft connected as one full piece, and honestly it makes life so much easier. So while we're doing this, I'm just going to say quickly some of the other bits that we've got going on the bike, which is, I know a lot of you want to see it, is the Ryuga motor capable of peaking at 81 kilowatt apparently. We then got the ATOS controller going on, which is capable of peaking at 76 kilowatt. And we've got the DHS 88 volt 60 AH battery going on, which again is meant to peak at 76 kilowatt. I'm unsure how true these figures are, but we are going to be taking the bike out, getting on a draggy and getting some real readings. I'm also going to try and record the BMS so we can see exactly what's coming through on the BMS of the battery whilst we're on the draggy, because as much information as I can give you guys, it'll just give you a much better idea of what performance you're going to actually get from these aftermarket parts. So one of the things that come with the Ryuga motor is a new pulley for the jack shaft. So as we're taking this back end off, we're going to be replacing the pulley that comes on the jack shaft with the one that actually comes with the Ryuga motor. It also comes with a carbon fibre belt. Now I know a lot of people are going to be wanting to switch to chain drive, especially with this amount of power, but I personally can't do it. I hate the noise of a chain drive, and I'd rather risk it with a carbon fibre belt. Whether that plans out to be an absolute disaster, I do not know. But I just don't like the noise of a chain drive, guys. It just bugs me. It just takes the whole fun away from that silent electrical noise that the bikes give that I just love. So yeah, them chain drives are just not for me. But each to their own. I'd rather send it with a carbon belt and see what happens. But at this point, me and Luke, we've got the accessory kit out for the Ryuga motor, and obviously it's time to get the new pulley onto the jack shaft. Whilst we're doing this in the accessory kit, we noticed that the accessory kit comes with another pulley cover. Now the pulley cover that it comes with only covers the actual pulley and actually doesn't cover the other side, which is the chain side, like the stock OEM one does. So we start messing with everything here, me and Luke, and we're like trying to measure it up, checking the gaps, checking distances, and just seeing whether we could just actually keep the stock pulley cover other than use the VTB one, because it just seemed a much purposely built product for what we were doing. So, you know, in the end we opted to just keep the stock. We found that there was no difference in distance or no difference in coverage. So we're at the point now where we're ready to rebuild this jack shaft. What we need to do is get the old pulley off, and we need to put the new Ryuga pulley onto the jack shaft. This will allow us then to get that full back end rebuilt.
Health and safety first.
Look, his legs are like small legs. Sexy.
Reckon we're threading a bolt here.
Never.
Straight out. Straight out. Let's see.
One.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
See what you can do.
So at this point, we've got all the bolts out without threading any of the heads and having major issues and trying to get them out. And I can crack on with actually getting the Ryuga pulley onto the jack shaft. What I'll do here is I'll just normally put a little bit of Loctite on the tip of each bolt, put each one in by hand just to make sure that they're actually in the thread, and then obviously just impact them in, make sure they're tight. So this is when it really starts to get exciting, when you start getting all them anodized bits on. So as you can see there's the linkage that I put on the screen earlier on, and as you can see now we're getting that swing arm back on, get all the jack shaft and everything else greased up, bolted through. Now as you can see, I'm putting the swing arm bolt back through, and I did mention to you before that I placed a little bolt inside just to hold it all into place. Now if you watch, as I push that swing arm bolt through, it'll push the bolt that holds everything else together back out. You will see that come through in a minute, but honestly, it just makes things so much easier. Whenever we're doing these, I know at the minute, obviously it looks like I'm struggling a little bit, but it was just a little bit fiddly getting the first bit through. And there we have it, guys. There's the bolt out, and everything's just kept in alignment. So yeah, at this point, it was time to get all that rear linkage and suspension bolted up, get that back in place, and then get the rear chain tensioners in place, get them bolted in, and then obviously get that 21 rear. But you know, the purple, it's really starting to show now against the black. This is one of my favourite colour setups, the purple and the black. I did it on the last build, which I didn't really get to fully do any footage of actually using the bike on, which I was a bit gutted about, but it is what it is. And obviously now I've got the opportunity to do an even better build. So basically at this point I'm just going through it, making sure everything's tight, and then I start looking around the shop floor to see what other anodized stuff we've got. I picked out some foot peg hangers, some foot pegs which are black and purple, and I also got the Ultra B stand. So I moved on to getting the hangers on both sides, fitting the foot pegs, and then using one of the greatest tools known to man, the spring tool. Which I always say, why don't Luke have one? And then he says you don't need one, use a screwdriver. But it is what it is. This is my little motor drop, yeah? You ready for this? Yeah, it looks funny in that video. Out! Who wants it? Cheap. 900 quid. Lee, get this now. So, we're ready for the new motor. So these little beauties, some sort of spacer. So, basically, instead of having the bolts that fit into the motor, into the faces of each side of the motor, we now have like a full shaft that'll go all the way through and bolt to the other side. This will increase the strength of the motor holding against the frame massively. And this is good to go. Yeah, will do. So there we have her, ready to go in. Get the first bolt in.
Get the first bolt in. Get some
The different
copper
sizes, these? No.
Get some copper grease on that as well.
The only thing, it's still going to want your fingers, aren't they?
Which way we got the space to put this top push?
For free.
All the way through, yeah?
Yeah. Wonder what that one's for.
This is for this other side, top bit.
For the
So
top
that
bolt.
goes on the top inside that, and then that goes over it. So that goes on first, crush washer, so it's out a little bit.
Ah, right,
Right,
yeah. So you've got, you can fasten it.
Yeah, catch it.
Got it?
Got it. Right, let me just loosen.
There's the other bolt.
You got that bolt? No, I'll put it on your side, through your side.
So through mine to you.
Then I need to hold this on. Get this. Yeah? Get a rubber
More or
mallet.
less is, bit more or less is there.
Rubber mallet.
One sec. It's height that it needs. Go again.
Get a rubber mallet, it'll let it in. Just knock it, tap it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, wait, stop a minute. Stop. Push. I need to push it back now. One sec. Whilst I get this spacer in. Tight that. It needs pulling like the motor's pushed. See how it's pushed?
Yeah.
There you go.
That goes in easier than the LBX
Yeah.
one on that, doesn't it?
Yeah. Tap that now.
What's that?
Might need to take. I think I might need to take a bit off the dish, you know. Off. Grab it. Just take it. Pull it back out if you can. One sec. Let me knock it. Top there. I think it might need that, you know. See it there on that edge. I think that noise is is the belt rubbing inside. Sometimes it's getting stiff. Yeah, I think it needs that. That's stiff there, but the belt isn't too tight. I'll just loosen it off a little bit. Yeah, it's hitting the pulley. It's rubbing on the side of it.
On where?
Oh no. I feel like it's too close to that. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it needs to come more.
This
Yeah.
pulley needs to come more out.
So it's gonna have to finger
Why
it.
would they put that in the box with a motor instead of in the box with a pulley? So that means the swing arm's going to have to come back off.
I know.
Fuck you know. It's always shit happens.
What a nightmare.
Not the end of the world. That's all the beauties of builds.
What a nightmare.
So basically, at this point, we realised that we didn't have a correct alignment from the jackshaft pulley to the motor. And that was due to the spacer being missing on the actual pulley. So guys, if you do buy one of these motors, just make sure that you do get the spacer out the box. Hopefully they start putting it in with the accessories, but our spacer was actually in with the motor and not the accessories. So earlier in the video you might have noticed the eerie music and me pulling out that spacer. Well, guess what, we had to strip the full back end back apart so we could put that spacer on the pulley. Once we done that, it was fine, and we got back up to the point where we're at now. At that point, I decided to get the controller on and then I hit another point of disaster. At this point, I realised after speaking to Olaf that the controller that I had was an ultra version of the controller. So the ultra version has lower phase amps than the max, and then the pro version has higher phase amps than both. So although the ultra would give me higher voltage rating, it gives me lower phase amps. So the max version was the ideal version really for that battery, and that's what we realised. And at that point we just, so to get the exact figures up for the people that want to know, they're here on the screen. So as you can see, the Pro can hit 1200 amps, phase amps that is, and obviously the max version can hit 960 phase amps, and the ultra version can hit 760 amps. So as you can see, the perfect controller for me, for my size battery, would be the max, and that would give me an all-round performance. So after that, there wasn't really much for me to do at this point, because I needed to wait for the max controller to come, and I had to end this video here. But I hope you guys have liked the video so far. I hope you subscribe, and in 2 to 3 days I will have this bike complete, and I will have some draggy information to put on the video as well, and I will show you what we got top speed and what we got 0 to 60. I hope you like the video, guys. See you on the next one.